I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
It's always special to be in the presence of one former president.
Hi, Dad.
But it was a true honor to sit down with 4 former living presidents in one day.
What's it like to be part of the ex-president club?
Well, it can be boring when we're all together. No, it's an honor. There's a great camaraderie because we all shared something special.
4 of the 45 presidents who have led our country for the last 250 years.
What were you most grateful for about the experience of being president of the United States?
Well, I just was the greatest honor of my life, or any American's life. The idea that a kid from Scranton, Pennsylvania, we were poor, but we're a middle-class guy, could, used to have a stutter, could end up being president of the United States. It's just kind of a story of what America's all about.
I am grateful that I had a chance to do what President Kennedy said everyone should want to do, to make maximum use of the talents God gave me, and to do it in a way that benefited other people.
2.5 centuries.
That's one small step for man.
And a nation tested.
I have a dream today.
A democracy that endures.
You ran on a simple yet effective principle, which was hope.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that hope in our country?
I do. The first time I was on the national stage and I talked about hope.
Hope. Hope in the face of difficulty.
I reminded people hope is not blind optimism.
The audacity of hope.
Hope arises in the face of difficulty, in the face of uncertainty. And obviously we're going through some uncertain times. But when you look at the sweep of American history, we've gone through rough patches. And we tend to come out on the other side of them stronger.
Family members can't sit across from one another and debate.
Well, we can.
We can.
Yeah.
And we have
Right.
for a long time.
Yes, we have.
But what can help us bring us back to each other?
Well, I think one of the things about the 250th is a chance to focus on the common good and the wonders of this country, the history of this country, the fact that you can worship freely without government tell you how to worship, the fact that you can speak in the public square without being jailed, the fact that we have a press that's willing to hold the powerful to account. I mean, these are all things that should and generally do unite us. But the beauty about democracy, Jen, is that it's self-correcting. And one of the key things I'm going to try to do during the 250th is encourage citizens to participate in the process. And if you don't like what's going on, vote. And that's how America heals itself.
I'm not sure we're as divided as we portrayed. I'm sure there's anywhere from 15 to 30% of the people who are on the one end here. But I think the vast majority of people are coming around to conclude that, those things that they don't even think about it directly, but the safeguards in the Constitution.
In 1993, when you became president, my grandfather left you a letter. What did that letter mean to you?
It meant the world because it basically said, we had a tough campaign, it's over, you won, and I wish you well because you're all our president now. And your success is America's and every American's. So I really wish you well. I kept that letter close at hand for years after I read it. I was just so touched by it. And then when your dad was elected, I wrote him a letter that said basically the same thing.
What do you think we can learn from that in this moment in history?
That America is bigger than anybody's personal hopes and dreams.
For the American people, sometimes it's the smallest gestures that have the biggest impact.
I get a little antsy, as I'm sure you know. And I was sitting next to Michelle. That's what happened. That's who I sit next to at funerals. And I was kind of teasing her and stuff, and I slipped her an Altoid. Not as a joke, but I thought she might want one. And I got in the car afterwards, and you said, "You're trending." I didn't know what trending meant. And it turns out the country is starved to see a white center-right Republican and a African-American center-left Democrat having fun and being able to converse, not as political figures, but as citizens. And I intend to continue to try to do that. I will be with former presidents at President Obama's library opening. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, having fun, and then going home.
Having a mint for Mrs. Obama?
I'm thinking about, I don't want to break the surprise. I'm thinking about bringing a case of Altoids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's symbolic.
Our next chapter filled with the same passion and determination on all sides to hold close to the principles that built America and made her strong.
I'm confident that we're going to have another 250-year run that's going to be just as good.
I would hope people will take a look at our history and realize we're an imperfect nation trying to be more perfect, but be optimistic about the future of the country.
Beautiful conversation, Jenna.
It made me feel better about the state of our country, and the History Talks event always features, or traditionally features, former presidents discussing their legacies, history. We should also note that President Trump is also working with the History Channel on an America 250 project, which they will announce more on later this spring.
I know behind the scenes how hard you worked on those interviews.
Thank you.
Are you okay? You feel okay?
Well, of course. I like that. I love that we could share all that. It's pretty amazing and pretty historic to talk to.
I was just about to say
all of the 4 remaining living presidents.
That was great.
You guys, thanks for watching.
I know. Come join us for all the fun every weekday on NBC.
Yeah, and don't forget to take us along when you're on the go.
Follow the Today with Jenna and Sheinelle podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.